Hey guys, this is episode 3 and we're talking San Diego Comic-Con 2017. We talk about some of the announcements from Marvel, DC, Netflix, and a few others. Not much else to say, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your doom.
Welcome to your doom.
Alright guys, we're back. Atul, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you, Justin?
I'm good. Oh yeah, these are your hosts.
Yes. These are your hosts.
Horse. Well, these are your horses. Horse is a horse, of course.
Apologies if this recording is coming out a little echoey, because we're in the basement of my new house.
Yes.
Yay for me.
Yeah.
It's got nothing in it right now, so it's got like laminate floors and just an empty space, so the sound is kind of bouncing around everywhere, so it probably sounds like we're in an auditorium.
So I'm gonna have my work cut out for me for editing this later.
That's right. That's right.
So if this doesn't sound echoey, I'm very good at what I do.
That's right. That's right. What have you been up to, man? It's been a little while since we recorded last.
I know. Lately, between the last time we recorded and then, I saw Metallica. That was pretty dope.
Oh yeah.
I saw them.
Did you do like an all-day pre-drink for that? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, let me think. Well, I drove, so I limited the pre-drink to like a very small subset, and then once we got to the venue, I had a couple beers, but
yeah.
Some of the other guys were going pretty hard.
Yeah, it's a Sunday too.
It was a
school
Sunday.
night.
It was a school night. I had actually taken the day off, and then on Monday I woke up completely fine, and then I was like, well, why take the vacation day? So I just turned it off, and it sends an alert to my boss. My boss goes to me, he's like, is everything okay? I'm like, why? He's like, you canceled your vacation. Like, what was that about? And I was like, oh, well, I thought I was going to be too fucked up to go to work today, so I didn't go. And he's like, okay, cool. I love my boss.
Perfect.
But yeah, no, Metallica live, man. They're definitely getting old, but man, they put on a show. They put on a hell of a show.
Where was this again?
It was at the Rogers Center.
Okay, so like seating. You guys had to buy seats?
No, actually, so we were basically on like the Blue Jays field.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we're
cool.
down there, and it was really good.
Cool, man.
The whole thing, we're just in the pit. Man, there was this moment where, okay, so I'm not one, I don't like, not that I don't like confrontation, I just don't like mosh pits. I don't like people pushing me, because I want to push back, and I like pushing back harder.
Right.
And that's not, I don't know. It kind of is what mosh pits are to some degree, but like, I don't know. I just don't like the contact. So I tend to shy away from that. And then all of a sudden, one developed literally right next to me, and then some guy just basically bounces off of me. And usually when that happens, I set myself up, and that way I'm not getting pushed over. But what ended up happening, I didn't see it coming. So I got hit from the side, and I staggered for a couple of steps, and I stepped right on this girl's foot, small little girl, and I was like, I felt really bad, because it was a big ass foot on her tiny foot, and I was just like, oh, I'm sorry. And then her boyfriend or father, I don't know, he was way older than she was.
Yeah.
And he comes over and he just starts pushing me over like this, right?
Like strong arming you?
Like strong arming you, but like there's a difference between, so there's strong arming where you're just kind of holding somebody.
Yeah, but he's
right?
pushing.
But he's pushing me back into the pit. And as soon as I felt like he was pushing me, I was like, no, I'm not fucking moving. Bro.
Yeah.
So I stopped and I started pushing him back.
Yeah.
And I put my finger in his face. I was like, I'm not going anywhere, man. This is what I'm standing right here. And he starts saying, get out of my face. And then all of a sudden he realized I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then the whole situation kind of de-escalated. And the pit was going on next to me. And then I just stood there watching that song. I think they were playing Master of Puppets. And I'm just watching that. And he's right next to me watching that too. And it was really awkward. I'm just like, we didn't say anything. And then after that, I was going to bypass him. And I was going to go to the girl after the song, when there was a quiet moment, just basically not shove, but like move him out of the way and basically say like, hey, I'm really sorry about stepping on your foot. Not my intention. Wasn't trying to get
right.
After the song was done, then he came up. He went over to me and he just said, sorry about that and this and that. It was a misunderstanding. The guy was actually a really nice dude.
Yeah.
But I get like if you're with somebody that's smaller and you think that they're gonna get trampled by somebody.
Yeah. You just like boxing out.
But but that's the thing. There's a difference, and I told him that too. I said there's a difference between boxing out and pushing the guy away. If you push the guy away, that's different, and that's not cool in my eyes. So. But man, it was a good show.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad you avoid. I was hoping that would. Part of me was hoping that would escalate into fisticuffs. But I'm kind of glad that it did not.
I didn't feel like getting dragged out of there. Some guy broke his ankle too. There's this really big dude. There's big like husky dude, and he was in the mosh pit the whole time. Like he was going in and out.
He like rolled his ankle or something.
Yeah. And he took off his shirt, and then all of a sudden he's like bouncing his hands on his belly and all that. He just looked like he was having a good time. And then I looked up, I was watching Metallica, and I looked down, and he's literally lying on the floor. And I was like, oh shit. And Coco, one of my buddies, was like, or no, it wasn't Rocco, it was somebody else. One of my buddies is just, oh yeah, I saw him roll his ankle really hard.
That's rough. Yeah, I read a piece of news from that concert. Some guy couldn't find his car.
Yeah.
Like, it was, I don't know why it appeared on my Google Now feed for whatever reason, but like in local news, man drives to Metallica concert and is stranded because he can't remember where he parked, and he couldn't find his car after the concert.
Yeah. I think the guy was from like Syracuse or
something. Yeah, Syracuse. He drove up from the States. Yeah. Oh man, that's funny.
Then I think his parents sent out like a letter or something like that. Anybody that what was it? It was a scavenger hunt.
Have you seen this car?
Yeah, basically like these are the monuments that he remembered on his way back or on his way to the concert. Does anybody know which parking garage this is?
Do you know if they found it?
I don't. I didn't look into that.
All right.
But man, that was funny to read.
Good. Yeah. Unfortunately, this isn't a Metallica podcast, so we're gonna have to move on.
Why not?
Last few days, I've been getting into some books. So I made a little trip to the local library. Had a couple of books waiting for me there. I read a book called Monster Hill, a comic called Monster Hill. It is hilarious. It's like this. It's a small like English town, and every small English town has its own monster, and they love their monsters. When the town gets attacked, everyone gets really excited.
Yeah.
And they start selling stuff from the attack. They're like, oh, our monster's great. He attacked our town 6 times in the last 3 weeks. And they start selling people like rubble from the actual like attack. And they're like, fresh rubble from the last attack or whatever. It's very like British in its humor, like really funny. I enjoyed that. I'm in the middle of reading like Through the Woods. It's just another horror comic, really, really well crafted. The stories are a little weak. It's like an anthology book, comic. And I saw a movie called The Invitation. And it was really, really good. Really good. I highly recommend it for people who like it's not a horror film as much as it's a thriller. I would compare it to a classier You're Next.
Okay.
I would say like that's kind of much slower burn, like less in your face, way slower burn. Really, really well crafted movie. I think folks like people who are fans of suspense should watch it, but like if you're a fan of horror as well, you should watch it. It's a great little indie movie. And I started reading a book called. It takes me a long time to choose what novel to read next, because comic books are usually a couple hours worth of reading, but to choose what novel to read next is a big deal. So I do a lot of research. I'm a slow ass reader. It takes me months to finish a book, maybe even more. I started reading a book called Summer of Night, and it's a supernatural coming of age story, and kind of like in the vein of like a Stephen King sort of Stand By Me / It. So you're giving me the no type.
Yeah, you guys could probably definitely hear us typing on this. Basically, we're on some plastic.
I was just trying to look up the author's name. I'd forgotten his name. It's written by Dan Simmons.
Dan Simmons. Okay.
Yeah, and I read a book by him called The Terror just recently, which was about these two ships that tried to find the Northwest Passage in like the 1930s or 1940s. I might be getting the date wrong there, but this one has been compared to Stephen King, and I haven't read it, but I was looking for something comparable, and I was looking for something new that not everyone is not so saturated, because I know a lot about what happens in it just from watching the miniseries and reading a lot about it. This one's completely new. It's got that nostalgic factor. All the kids going out for school in the summer, and like something happens to them, they all sort of like lose their innocence.
Right.
Small town America kind of thing. Really cool so far. I actually quite enjoy it.
Nice.
So that's what's been going on. Other than that, like moving in.
Yeah.
Basically, like taking all my shit and moving it in and trying to, sort out where stuff is going to go. And it's been like really exciting, real balls to the wall, actually. Like,
it's a good way to describe it.
Yeah. So, yeah. So SDCC.
SDCC that just passed.
Yeah,
This
San
is one of
Diego
the
Comic-Con. Yeah.
Well, actually, it's been a while since I've been to one. When I was working for DreamWorks, I got tickets basically every year as a professional. And living in LA, it's a 2-hour drive to San Diego. So, well, you came the first year I went.
That was your first year?
I think it was my first year. Yeah.
Holy fuck! I gotta tell you, man,
that was a weekend.
That was a weekend, and I was so sick. Like literally, I got what's known as the Comic-Con plague. Like after that, I was sick for a few days. Flying out to the West Coast and flying back for like 2 nights. It was just a brutal. And I took a red eye back, and I worked that day. It was just a total fucking shit show.
Yeah.
It was fun. But, I'd gone to New York Comic-Con every year. I was living in New York, so that was about 7 years. And I just like New York Comic-Con better.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the Javits Center in New York, just like it flows. Like the whole thing just kind of flows better in terms of crowds and stuff.
Yeah.
From what I remember from my trip out west to San Diego, it was hard pressed to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't get places. Like I needed to get somewhere. It was just shoulder to shoulder almost all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like New York Comic Con was a little less congested. Although in recent years it's
getting more.
It's getting more and more. It's getting worse. And they've also separated Artists Alley into like a separate like thing where you have to go through this weird sort of tunnel.
Oh, that's kind of strange
thing to get over there, and it's a weird layout now, but. I'm good. Once to San Diego Comic-Con, that's enough for me. I'll go. Like we have our tickets for New York Comic-Con this year.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going. We're going to New York. But San Diego was just too much. I remember waiting in line, Hall H, to see the Green Lantern presentation for like 3-4 hours, and we were literally going to be.
We were like the next group, 20 people.
Yeah, going in,
and
the hall was full, and I'm like, so jaded. So jaded. Oh man,
in hindsight, what a waste of time. But
I suppose, but you don't know that.
No, I know at that time. It was. I mean,
just wasting like half the day.
Yeah, and I haven't lined up for Hall H since. I've gone to Hall H since then, but usually it's something that like is on a Sunday and there's no lines on Sunday.
Right.
You can just walk in, and usually that's because the blockbuster ones are Fridays and Saturdays.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. I stay away from that stuff. That was the last time I ever waited for anything explicitly at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I like at New York Comic-Con. I love like roaming the floor, seeing some of the smaller booths.
Yeah.
I found so much cool shit, whether it was art or like I found this podcast once called The Leviathan Chronicles, which is an audio drama. It's a fantastic pod, but I just literally stumbled on it like I was walking through. So I found a ton of cool shit. That's where I met the guy from Glass Eye Picks.
Yeah.
Out there, they had a booth, and just like roaming the floors, but it was just great, And I randomly I bumped into I bumped into Ray's. Do you remember that?
I was there with
you. Oh, you were there, yeah.
When we met Ray's. And
Yeah,
I didn't know he sounded
Underworld.
like that.
Yeah, from Underworld.
I don't
and
remember
he
the actor's
actually
name.
fucking sounds like that, which just kills me.
It's
Like, because that's how I recognized he was around.
Yep.
It's like someone was talking like this. He was actually saying words, not just blabbing like a baby.
It didn't sound like it.
He's got a great voice, and that's how I recognized him. He was just saying, and he's a massive dude.
He's a big fella.
Yeah, he's like 6.5 feet tall, like, and so like stuff like that. Stan Bush,
yeah.
ran into Stan Bush. 80s semi rock star, Transformers rock star. I don't know if he did anything else. I don't know what else he's done other than like the majority of the Transformers soundtrack. But Roaming the Floor has always been great. Artist Alley has always been great to go and talk to the artists, get the book signed, and try and buy directly from them if I can.
Yeah.
Just because I know like when they bring their own stack, that money is all going to like it's called Artist Alley, obviously, but the writers are there as well. So it's like
Writers Alley,
right? Exactly. I really enjoy that stuff. So I stopped, trying to get to like actually that was the first and last attempt at something big.
Yeah.
To get into something because like NYC has something similar. I think it's the Time Warner Room or something like that. I can't remember.
We went to. I think you were there with me. I went to something. It was Marvel related. It might have been leading up to the Avengers. Actually, it was. It was leading up to the Avengers.
Is that right?
Yeah. I don't remember.
I can't remember the room. Like they have a room that's like like the big room.
It's a big
there.
it's a big room.
But I don't even. It doesn't even matter anymore. So anyway, so a bunch of news came out from San Diego Comic-Con. Neither of us. You went after that, right? You went that one time I came down, but then you went to San Diego Comic-Con after that.
I went every year I was in LA. Yeah, I was there for all 5 of them. I was there from 2000. I missed the 2009 one because I wasn't there. So I went 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then I left LA in 15. So I didn't go to 15.
So you've got some hours spent at SDCC.
Oh, buddy. Yeah. And it progressively got worse over time. More people, more density. The con would even more affect the outdoors of the con.
Yeah.
Bleed into the night. Like that was my favorite time going with some of my friends down there. It was like the nightlife was really cool.
Yeah.
Like after the con,
I remember we went out that night.
We destroyed that.
That was great.
We broke down that city. And it was
great.
amazing. But like over the years, all of a sudden it's less people from San Diego going out to bars, and it's all just flooded with Comic-Con people towards the thing. And that's all well and good, but like during the day you've got one thing, and then all of a sudden at night it's the same thing again, just a different environment. Yeah. It's like I like the divide. I like being able to see like hang with like San Diego people and get to talk about like what are your thoughts on Comic-Con basically shutting down your city for the next few days.
And maybe that's why they're not there. I think that sort of makes sense. One of the things about New York Comic-Con is that the Javits Center isn't really close to anything. It's not right. It's not close to any nightlife, right? So whenever you came down, my strategy was always to catch the train back home, and I would go on the opposite side of Manhattan, basically. And like you still have folks out from Comic-Con, and I don't mind that at all. It doesn't literally bleed from the con out into your favorite bar, like that kind of thing.
A few people or whatnot, that's totally cool. But like when the entire bar is shoulder to shoulder and it's all Comic-Con people, it's like what the fuck? Like I just want to grab a drink. Get the fuck out of my way, Pikachu. I'm not kidding. There was a dude at a bar in my way, and he had a big friggin' Pikachu costume and was poking me in the face with his damn tail. You were talking about...
Is that what they call it now?
Well, I hope it was his tail.
We all hope it was his tail.
Otherwise, he peeked my chew.
Jeez. I love the culture, and I like that idea. But I can understand that if you're living in the city, that it can be quite alienating to have like a lot of folks. Just it's kind of like I don't know. I feel that way about SantaCon. Like in New York, they have SantaCon. Do you guys have that on in LA or
no? Not to my knowledge. Maybe fuck.
And I don't know if they have it in Toronto either, but man, SantaCon in New York is a total fucking shit show. And like the East Village, Alphabet City, Lower East Side are common. Like there's that's like a place people traverse to dress up as Santa and his elves and just go get blasted at noon. And yeah. Anyway,
support that part of it. But.
Yeah. Anyway, so like a lot of news came out of San Diego Comic-Con. I got a couple of things here. Maybe I'll start with one.
Kick it off. Yeah, go for it.
Let's talk about the Thor trailer. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Holy shit! I gotta tell you, man, the Thor trailer was really good. I really enjoyed that trailer. And I gotta admit, I haven't read a lot of Thor. I think the most amount of Thor I've read is from the Ultimates.
Yeah.
Like I haven't read a Thor series. But man, this trailer just kills it.
Yeah.
And you know what I think is funny? Everyone loves this trailer. You know what I think is absolutely hilarious and ironic? This trailer looks like the trailer for a Zack Snyder film.
Really?
There is a tremendous amount of embers, overcast, and slow motion in this trailer.
True.
Literally, there's a shot of Hela turning around with giant horns on her head in slow motion with this like, and I'm like, that is frame for frame a shot from 300.
Yeah.
Like there's no two, and it's so. I think it's really interesting how. So the director of this film is a fantastically talented man, Taika. I'm probably not pronouncing his name right, but I think it's Taika Waititi.
Okay.
And he did Condors, Flight of the Condors. Sorry, I'm getting the name wrong, but it was a comedy thing. And then he did a movie called What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh God, the Concords.
Concords, not Condors.
Not Flight of the Con. Is it Flight of the Concord?
Maybe.
Whatever.
I think so.
The two. Yeah, I know the two musicians.
He is
Flight of the Concords.
hilarious. And What We Do in the Shadows. I took a couple of friends to see that movie in New York, and man. And these guys don't like horror films or genre films, but we were crying. It was so funny. I bought that movie on Blu-ray. So good. Very, very good. And then he did a movie called Hunt for the Wilder People. Mm-hmm. Or Wilder People. With Sam Neill and this kid. I can't remember the kid's name, but he's going to be in Deadpool, apparently. And, that movie was fantastic as well. So he's got this really niche sense of humor.
Yeah.
And he's bringing that like to this movie.
It seems like
it's seriously like the fucking colors, like the neon colors, the soundtrack for these for the trailer. Just man, it's great. And I love the fact that these smaller directors are getting big movies like Jurassic World. That director Colin Trevorrow came from a small film, and Kong, Skull Island.
Yeah.
And I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head, but and I'm not allowed to type according to Justin, so I'm just gonna fucking continue. He came from a smaller film called The Kings of Summer, which was like a really small like coming of age story drama, right? Yeah. And then he's directing like Kong, Skull Island, and then now Taika Waititi's done these smaller comedies and dramas, is now doing like a Thor film, and like these guys are really getting their shot at it, and it's great. I fucking love it because it's new, it's fresh, feels good, and it totally shows in this trailer. It's amazing. I don't know. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. So
no, it's all good. The trailer, like for me, just watching it, like between the way the soundtrack goes and some of the visuals and the colors and whatnot, it just screams like. I think that Marvel's almost trying to go, like they kind of had their formula with the way that they did things early on, and that really stuck, but then Guardians hit. Yeah. And Guardians is kind of, I mean, it's still in the same vein, kind of the same formula as the other Marvel films. It just kind of takes itself a little bit differently, I think, than the other ones do. A little bit more fun, a little more playful. Yeah. But not afraid to take some risks with some weird kind of gags and stuff like that. Sure. And the way that they use the soundtrack, it just, to me, that the way that this trailer's setting it up, I think it's trying to position itself a little bit more towards that space than like the original Marvel films. Sure. Not a bad thing, not a good thing, just it's a thing, and I love the trailer. Like it was hilarious.
So it is a good thing.
It is a good thing. Yeah. It's just I like that things are it seems like in a transitionary period right now with the Marvel films, which is good. Yeah. You've got that. Then you've got Black Panther, which it feels somewhat
man.
different based on the trailer.
I like the trailers for Black Panther and the fact that they use
Run
that
the
Run
Jewels?
the Jewels
Yeah.
track. Oh fuck! So
when I heard that, I lost my shit.
I just saw a trailer that used the. Oh, never mind. It's for
Baby Driver.
No. A new movie with Matt Damon called Suburbicon.
I haven't actually seen the trailer.
Watch the trailer for that. It uses the Run the Jewels DJ Shadow track.
Oh, for real?
Nobody Speak.
Nobody Speak.
Yeah.
I literally just watched. There's a documentary on. It was basically about the media in Gawker and a few things on Netflix called Nobody Speaks or Nobody Speak or Nobody Speaks.
I've read something about that.
I literally watched it only because of that song. Well, there was that and there's Hulk Hogan's face, and I was like, well, let's see what this is.
Oh, Nobody Speak. Yes, that's why I saw it. Is the song referenced at all?
Not at all.
God damn it!
It was a little unfortunate. But it was a decent documentary. But,
Yeah. But yeah, the color here, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, the
Can we
bloom.
talk- the bloom is in it, and let me tell you, he looks. Oh man, he looks hilarious. He just looks outlandish. I don't know who he's supposed to play. I don't know the backstory of the characters, but Taika Waititi has a pretty good relation because Sam Neill is New Zealandish. That's not the term. He's a Kiwi.
Zealander.
He's
I have no idea.
of New Zealand origin.
Sure.
That
sounds
goddamn fool
better.
right now. And they did The Hunt for the Wilder People just before this. That was the film he had done before.
Yeah.
Sam Neill has a cameo in this movie.
Get the fuck out of here.
He has a cameo in this movie.
I love me some Sam Neill.
But Jeff Goldblum is in this movie as well.
I know. That'll be a good cameo.
I'm like, literally, I want Marvel not... And I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but I do know that Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell are both in that movie and do not have a fucking scene together.
That's true.
Why? Like... Why would you get Tango and Cash in the same fucking movie and you can't write a scene where they're in the same... Like, to get... Oh, it's such a missed opportunity.
When you see the movie, you'll get it, but it
sucks.
Yes, I completely agree.
Look, and I feel like...
Maybe they just
the
don't like
same
each
shit.
other.
Like Marvel is just doing this. They're just trolling us. They're like, oh, we'll just get your favorite actors in the same movie, but they'll never have a scene together.
Yeah, they're just gonna pass each other in the hallway and not even look at each other.
That's it. Oh my god. I understand it's a bit fan servicey.
Yeah.
Like I get it. But and I understand that you don't want to just write something for the sake of writing it. It kind of ruins the flow. It takes people out of the movie.
Yeah.
But Goldblum and Neil. Come on.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
And you know what? They'll probably just go. It's just a total tease again. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to not seeing them in a scene together. I feel like that's what's gonna happen.
Expect the worst. Hope for the best.
I felt the same way about The Force Awakens. Like the fact that you have Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill's characters returning.
Yeah.
And they don't have, and spoiler alert, they don't have a scene before Han dies. It's like,
what the fuck?
What do you do? I feel like there's just like a really like a missed opportunity there. Not a lot of closure.
Hamill mentioned that directly in an interview. He basically said like, I had a version of how that kind of plays out in my head, and like that's Luke going to rescue them when they're in like I'm gonna call
on
it
that
Death
plane,
Star, the big Death Star,
Death Star 2.0.
Yeah, and like him basically going in there and being the one that kind of pulls them out in some form or fashion, and like being able to reunite with Leia, being able to reunite with
just have a scene together.
Yeah.
It's just
It's just a lost opportunity.
I'm sure in the next film he will have a scene with Leia.
Yeah,
but like not having a scene with like Han
before they kill him,
like a missed
off.
Opportunity.
Yeah,
it just sucks. It just, and that's a little different. Like Guardians 2 with the Tango and Cash thing, and then like the Goldblum Neil thing. That's just fan service. With Force Awakens, these are characters that did deserve some kind of interaction. And again, like spitballing out of that, like Logan.
Yeah.
Like Professor X and Logan not having the exchange that you wanted them to have before they die. It's just, it feels so, it's like you're being robbed.
Yeah.
You know, like they built so much history and you're being robbed. Anyway, those two scenarios are about characters and plot and really like closure. I just want to see Sam Neill and Goldblum in a room where they say something funny to each other about chaos theory. Yeah. You know, like, or something like that. Like, that would be good. That'd be chaotic. It certainly is. Ding. Like, that's it. I met Jeff Goldblum. I have a picture.
I know. I'm like probably the only person in this world that I know that hasn't met fucking Jeff Goldblum. Oh, dude, he would actually. There was a place in LA he would go to and play piano at, and people would go.
So random.
Yeah, super random. And people I worked with would go every so often and just get pictures with him and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
I never went there. I didn't really ask where it was, but like I found out about it kind of late in the game, and I was like, damn, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
he seems like a nice chap.
Oh yeah, he was super nice. Yeah. Although it was very strange. It was very warm, and he was wearing a parka and gloves. Weird.
That is strange.
But he could have had a fever, potentially. So, anyway, Thor trailer is great. A lot of cool shots in there. A lot of great color. Good use of music. I loved it.
I think you were in the majority on that one. I think everybody that's seen it really likes it.
Right. What do you got?
Well, we'll move over to the next big comic book company producing films in DC.
Valiant.
Hey, actually, Valiant, there's a fan film company, Bat in the Sun.
Yeah.
And they're producing, I don't know how long the film's going to be. It's going to be a fan film, but it's like Ninja K.
Oh, yeah. The three characters?
Or something. Yeah.
Ninjak.
Ninjak?
Right? Yeah,
I don't know that universe. The Valiant universe isn't something I know either. But basically, like, they have the guy that they have playing Batman, that basically, what's his name? Kevin Porter. He's a fantastic Batman.
Yeah.
He's playing a character named Armstrong.
Yeah.
Jason David Frank from the Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah.
He's playing Bloodshot.
Bloodshot.
Yeah. They a bunch of guys that they've used before, and it looks like what they've shared so far. It looks pretty good.
I think I saw an image of what Bloodshot would look like, and when I was collecting in the 90s, I have some Valiant comics. I actually have Exo Manowar, like when it came out, and a couple of Bloodshot comics. And Valiant was definitely, again, a product of its time. But in the last 6-7 years, I think Valiant has come back and reinvented themselves, and I think they have a lot of good content. I haven't gotten into it, and I was thinking of actually getting into Exo Manowar perhaps, and maybe Bloodshot as well. Bloodshot's having a movie, and I saw a headline about Jared Leto, gonna be in the movie. But I was thinking of digging into some back issues of the relaunch of Valiant, because I think that's supposed to be pretty good.
I did the Bat in the Sun stuff definitely piqued my interest. So and Bat in the Sun's great. So if you haven't actually checked their stuff out, they do Superpower Beatdown. I know you know, but for any listeners that are listening, it's Superpower Beatdown. They've got some really good older fan films.
They have a smoking hot Psylocke. That's them, right?
Yeah, she is really pretty.
Holy,
I don't remember that actress's name, but
it is wildly distracting when she's like in any of those videos. I'm just like, what? What? Rewind.
I know.
What?
Kind of oogle.
Yeah. But no, really well produced. I think the last one I saw was Wolverine Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
A lot of like kind of shitty, like misogynistic like lines.
Yeah.
I just didn't really
it didn't suit the character.
It didn't suit the character. I feel like that's like not something he would say.
No. He's gruff, short, and literally gruff, short, and just like to the point.
He doesn't care.
And threatening.
Yeah.
Like he's not, like you said, misogynistic.
Yeah, it was just like really off-putting. Yeah. If they just deleted his dialogue, I think it turns out really well. I think they did a really good job.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And Batman City Scars, it's a 30-minute fan film that they made.
I have not seen that whole thing. Was that one with Nightwing? Or no, that was a different one.
It might not be 30 minutes, between 20 and 30 minutes, but basically it's the Joker escapes from Arkham Asylum. Batman's got to track him down.
Yep.
Not so hilarity ensues, but it's really, really well done film. It's one of the best reviewed Batman films of all time, actually.
Crazy. I got to check that out.
It's worth it for sure. So Bat in the Sun. Anyways, back to DC. There's a few things that happened. Obviously, they released the Justice League trailer, which Cyborg looks better.
It looks better. Yeah, he looks better.
Which my worry originally was that, well, it's going to be another Green Lantern situation where you've got a head just floating on a CG body. And it did look bad in the first trailer. This one looks better, but it's still, to me, it's still going to be
I
for
think
the same problem.
And I can't remember the actor's name. I think the actor, he's just very clean.
He is very clean.
I think he's, because I'm like, oh, this guy looks like a doll. Like, why is his face so like shiny and plasticky?
Yeah.
And then it occurred to me that this man probably like furiously exfoliates like every night.
Same,
and
when
buffs.
you're an actor, you've got to buff. You've got to exfoliate.
Exfoliate and
that
buff.
Skin
right?
to be crystal clear.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking that partly because he is so dermatologically pristine is the fact that Cyborg just looks really strange. But I do think it looked better in this trailer. I like them using like Come Together, like in terms of like the music for all of these trailers, and like it's a cover, I guess, and I don't know who's doing it, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought Godsmack did a cover for them for Come Together a while ago, and it's not them. But originally I thought maybe that was them.
Oh man, yeah,
Love me some Godsmack. But yeah, no, the trailer looks good. You can still see some, like they're going more with a little bit more tongue in cheek kind of humor here and there. The action looks good. The action looks cool.
Yeah. I'm hopeful. The trailer.
hopeful.
So did you notice that when Steppenwolf shows up? By the way, the trailer opens with Wonder Woman, and there's definitely a focus on Themyscira.
Yes.
I'm like, you got to know a good thing when you got it. So props to them for recognizing that
Absolutely.
and like playing it up. When Steppenwolf shows up, and first of all, I love his voice.
Yeah, it's really good.
Kieran Hines, I think, is the guy who plays him, and he you'd recognize his face. But unfortunately, he was in the second Ghost Rider movie playing the devil. But like that's the thing I can think of right now. But he's also in Game of Thrones, and he's in several other movies that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
He played Julius Caesar in Rome, the HBO series. He's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
He does his voice, does that little monologue where it says like this world will fall, like all the rest. But he says no Kryptonian and no lanterns. And I'm like, what? He just fucking said that shit.
Setting it up, man.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really cool. And I thought the fact that they didn't hint at any like lantern action at all was kind of cool, that he's just hinting at the fact and saying like there's a bigger world. It don't have to force it all in. You just he just hints like no lanterns. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. He's all CG. We'll see how it turns out. I mean, basically he looks like the way I wanted Ares to look like. He's like Ares. Like the second version, like
maybe that's why they did Ares different. Maybe they had this.
This guy.
Maybe.
Yeah, his look in the comics, and then especially in the New 52, or like I think his look has always been really out there. He's got like a mustache and like stuff like that. So I'm kind of glad they didn't go like purely in that direction. But I like the axe and the whole thing, and I thought the underwater sequences, I was always curious like how this is gonna work out, and you get a good look at like Aquaman underwater with the hair thing going on, and it looks good. I'm happy with what I saw there.
I'm hopefully optimistic, but I don't know. We'll see, and I'm curious to see what the Joss Whedon influence on that will be. I think it'll help probably some of the dialogue and probably some of the beats in the story. Hopefully, and ideally the studio doesn't get in the way. I think I don't think that they will, man. I honestly don't think the studio wants to get in the way because
they're funding like $30 million of reshoots at this point. So
at this point, I think that they want to try and just put out a movie that everybody can get on board with, and I think that I don't know. I honestly do truly believe that they are recognizing that their original idea or formula that they had with Superman, like Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman wasn't kind of the way to go. That tone. And then once Wonder Woman hit, they're kind of starting to take notes. And
and I think maybe like the reshoots are fueled by some of those decisions. And I for one am I'm kind of looking forward to what they come up with. in the reshoots.
Yeah.
This movie is not going to be perfect. I don't think this movie is going to be as good as Wonder Woman. I think it's going to be better than Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
I like Man of Steel, so if it's at the
too.
level of Man of Steel, I'll be happy.
Yep.
And by that level of Man of Steel, those are very different movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But two things. The Flash makes a really funny joke in this that makes me laugh every fucking time. I've seen the trailer several times, but the line where he's like, "Do battle." Like I don't know how to do battle. I just like run in and like push people and run away. I was like, oh, great. That's great. Like they're playing up Barry as being sort of this like comedic, like the heart of the team kind of character. But I do want to see Barry become a capable, because in the comics, Barry is I don't want to sound like one of those purists, but like in the comic books, one of the traits that I think they should carry over is the fact that he's a forensic scientist. He's smart. He's not dumb. He's not incapable, but obviously not built for this sort of like making him the newcomer is I think is okay. In the JLU or the JLA series, it was Wally.
It was Wally, yeah.
Right? And I always associated this idea, this character, this sort of newcomer and like comedic, I always associated that with Wally West. And when I was reading, I'm reading comics now, but my ideas behind who the Flash is are based on Wally West. And that's why this fits, but it's not Wally, it's Barry.
Right.
So I'm kind of, I like what they're doing. I hope there's an arc there that gets him into a place of more capability later.
Yeah.
And Aquaman riding a parademon through a building. Like
He just likes riding things.
he's just like he's riding the Batmobile. He's like basically the Legolas of this movie. Because Legolas in like every Lord of the Rings movie, he's like riding an orc, or he's riding a shield, or an elephant trunk. Like he's surfing on something all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, like Aquaman riding, like standing on. It's a ridiculous shot. Yeah. Like when I saw the trailer, I'm like, what am I looking at? Like he's just like flying through the sky. And the best part, my favorite part of that is when he goes through the building and smoothly pops out of the front door, lands walking,
flips his hair back.
He flips his motherfucking hair back. He whips his hair back and forth. All right, back and forth. Sweet baby Jesus, I laughed and I'm sure they must have done that on purpose. They had to have done that on purpose. There's no way someone saw that. It's like, yes, this is a serious moment. I want this hair flip to happen.
And what else? There was some. Oh, and obviously the stinger at the end there with what I would guess they're teasing Superman returning, which everybody knows. Yeah, I don't know why they're trying to play it so bloody close to the chest.
I like it. They know that everybody knows.
Yeah.
They put it in the trailer. It's not like they're trying to keep it a secret. They're not telling you how. They're not telling you when. It's more of the anticipation of the moment. Yeah. And I don't understand why people are getting upset. They're like, oh, everybody knows. It's like, that's not what it's about. It's about how it happens and when it happens.
You know what it is for me is I don't care about seeing it in the trailer. You can hide that. But like, why is he not in any of the promo material? Like, put him in the fucking, like, we know he's going to be in it. Put him on that poster. Like that beautiful poster that they have.
Yes,
with all of them. And the Superman symbols in there. Fucking
he's not there. He's not there. Let's talk about that poster for a second, because that is it's a direct, like almost frame for frame recreation of the Justice Alex Ross cover, right?
Yes.
My only issue with that poster, I love it. I think it's great. I'm like finally we're getting some really unique promos for this one, because I think Wonder Woman had amazing posters, an amazing ad campaign. I think I see myself buying one of those posters. It's fantastic. Mm-hmm. Aquaman looks fucking weird.
Somebody pointed out why he looks weird. He is like, the lazy
eye. Is it his eyes?
It's just,
his eyes are like...
He's got fish eyes. I don't know. Like,
they must have got him just as he like popped out of the ocean. And they're like, geez, he's like, he's got the googly.
But like, how did nobody in post see that and be like, oh, let's just shift that? Yep, there we go. That's better.
You know what? It's more than just the eyes. It's his look. It's the way he's looking at the camera. And,
yeah.
I'm like, man, he's so visually interesting, especially the way they've done it with all the hair and the beard and stuff. They could have taken a better photo.
Yes,
I think in general they forgetting the lazy eye for the moment, just like a better, because it feels like he's looking over his shoulder, struggling to be in the image. He should be.
Hey, you guys, I want to be in the picture.
Yeah.
Can I get in?
Yeah. He's just kind of like looking over his shoulder. I think he can look better. His original debut poster.
Oh man, it was epic.
That was great. They should have taken that look. Right.
Yeah.
Look how big Cyborg's head is. Compared to Aquaman's face, in which you can't really see anything distinguishable about Aquaman in that piece. So that's the only. The other small nitpick is the expression on Wonder Woman's face.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of
startled, or it's kind of like she saw something strange and was just like
she walked in on her parents having sex.
That
would be the face you'd make, just like kind of broken.
Yeah. I think Flash is perfect. I think Batman's perfect. I think Cyborg's good. Yeah. Again, with dermatological excellence.
He's moisturized.
But and honestly, this typeset here for the font and everything for "You Can't Save the World Alone," brilliant. I thought that was fucking great.
Yeah.
Oh, it was perfect.
Yep.
Great. Thank God for a unique ad campaign, because I was getting real tired of all of the shitty posters they were putting out for this movie.
Yep. No, this is definitely better. This is less Photoshop, a bunch of single individual promo shots and stick them
with little lens flares in it.
Right. No, this is cool. This is definitely cool.
I mean, there's nothing I hate more than shitty poster design. I hate shitty posters, especially. And I hate shitty posters for movies that I'm excited about. That's even worse, right?
Cool.
All right, next thing I've got on my list is Ready Player One, the trailer. So we'll talk about this really quick. I read have you read that book?
Yes.
Okay, so this trailer has stuff in it that I don't remember from the book at all, like this whole racing sequence that
was weird,
fucking random, completely random. Not to say that this is bad. I'm just saying when I watched the trailer, I thought I was watching the trailer for another movie, because even the references, the 80s references they have in the trailer are completely different than the 80s references they have in Ready Player One.
Yes.
Like the book. I saw the Iron Giant.
I blew my load.
Is it not even an 80s film?
No, it isn't.
Like, that is 100% a 90s movie. And a fantastic movie and one of my favorite films of all time.
Yep.
Which is why when I saw it, I thought maybe it was a reference to another older film whose robot design looked similar. But I watched the trailer, I'm like, no, that is 100% the Iron Giant from the Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe the story was written in the 80s. It's possible. No, I don't know.
No. So the book, it was all 80s references. That's when.
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the Iron Giant is based on based on a short story.
I don't
and maybe
know.
that short story.
I think they'll pull like 80s and 90s reference. I mean, it's really anything, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be limited to the 80s stuff.
But they definitely pushed it. Like, I saw. What did I see? I saw when I saw Freddy Krueger. I'm like, what am I? Like, I don't even know what I'm watching. What am I watching?
I think Duke Nukem's in the background too, which is obviously a 90s reference.
See, I didn't even notice that. And then the DeLorean.
I think it's a guy firing a rocket launcher. I think that's Duke Nukem, just based on the silhouette, though. You can't really see much else other than the silhouette. But
yeah, I saw the DeLorean is just like is in it, obviously, and I thought I saw a Terminator. Do you see Terminator?
You might be right. I think I saw something similar.
I thought I saw a Terminator. I haven't read too much about this.
There's probably tons of YouTube videos like examining frame for frame. Yeah. So I'll probably take a look at that at some point. But yeah, no. I mean, it's all going to boil down to what do they have the rights for? They're not going to be able to put Voltron in this film, I think, right?
Well, here's the thing.
I don't think that they own the rights.
When you write about stuff, when you write a story, can he use whatever he wants? Because I guess what I'm always like, maybe he was restricted, so he had to use War Games, that Matthew Broderick film, heavily, some like Dungeons and Dragons stuff. like more like not obscure, but not nearly as popular,
Yeah.
right? Not nearly as popular, right?
Yeah.
So, but he switched everything.
Yeah.
Spielberg switched everything, and he made it like some of the most popular, most recognizable icons.
Yeah.
And I think just because he's Spielberg, he can get the rights to do that.
He could, yeah. I think so.
Well, I mean, I think he produced Back to the Future, so maybe the DeLorean thing isn't such a stretch. But like Freddy Krueger, and like the Iron Giant.
Who is it that's doing? Is it Warner Brothers that's releasing that, or
I have no idea.
Production company. I'm not sure, but I mean, film companies are going to be limited to whatever titles that they own or have the rights to, right?
Right.
I don't know that they'll be able to do Voltron. I think DreamWorks has the rights to Voltron.
Yeah, dude.
Or maybe just the animated.
We're in the middle of watching the second season.
I just finished it. Like
dude, so good.
It's so good.
So good.
DreamWorks. When I was there, I got to see some early production. I was very, very similar to what the TV shows are putting right now, but like actually some of it's a good show. Really, really good show.
Excellent show. As for the trailer, it's confusing. Doesn't really tell you what's going on. It doesn't. I could see, even having read the book, I think maybe I was confused because I had read the book, because I wasn't sure what I was looking at half the time. But I just didn't think it did a good job of conveying like what this movie is. Like, what is it? Like, it's just a bunch of these references that you're definitely going to recognize, and then
you mentioned the racing scene, which I thought was exceptionally confusing because, and not even talking about it from a stance of it wasn't in the book. It just seemed like all of a sudden the trailer stopped, and then another completely different trailer started. Like there was a hard line between like the early stuff you see in the battles and the Freddy Krueger thing, and then all of a sudden it's just this weird racing thing with little to no context. Like, it just didn't make sense. It didn't really tell you anything about what the movie's going to be about.
That's right. Yeah.
Which it basically was just like, if you know the book, you know what you're looking at, and you know kind of where they're going with it.
Yeah.
But if it's a new person, they're going to have no clue. They'll see the Iron Giant and Freddy Krueger and be kind of confused. And then all of a sudden, maybe the DeLorean they spotted, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's... Yeah. And things were going by fast. We knew to look for some of those references, things from outside of just that culture or that story.
That story, yeah.
So
I'm kind of like lukewarm on it. But I am excited. I want to see what Steven Spielberg comes up with for this film. It's very CG heavy. Like the whole thing's very CG. It feels very. It just feels very. I'm neutral. I'm like. Let's just see what he comes up with. It's not a good like a teaser trailer is not a good representation. So, I'll wait and see. But I was just very confused by the trailer, to be honest. So.
One thing that's interesting for me about the mostly CG stuff is I don't mind it if it's going to be in the Oasis the whole time. So remember Tron?
Oh, yes. No, that's good.
So there was Tron, and they gave Jeff Bridges the digitized facelift in the scenes where he wasn't in Tron. What's the Tron? In the grid?
I haven't seen either of them.
You really haven't?
I'm not.
Well, anyways, okay. So the digital facelift is extremely distracting. But if you limit that just to like the digital universe,
it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I guess that makes sense. He would look a little digital. So that's why I'm like, if the heavy CG stuff is just limited to the Oasis, I can forgive that.
That's very cool.
But like when you've got like overly CG movies that are trying to pass off things for real. Doesn't look so good.
Yeah, so I agree.
I hope they don't go that route.
But that's a good way of putting it. If they put it all in the Oasis, the digital world, he can add this uncanny sort of valley thing going on in there that's actually plays into the story, which is really interesting. Yeah. All right. Yeah, what do you got?
We'll hit the last thing and then probably close this one out.
I had a couple more things.
Well, fuck, dude. We're already 52 minutes.
Yeah, we'll run through.
The It trailer.
Yes,
dude. I just recently saw the original. I haven't read the book. I know enough about it that I know that the books are the book's far more dense. The book's like a friggin' Bible. It's huge.
Yeah, it's massive.
My sister actually just read it, and so anyways, the original film, the made
Did she like it?
movie,
Or?
she loved the book. Yeah,
Oh.
the film she saw, she thought it was ass.
Which one? The miniseries?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she thought it was ass. But this, I mean, when you compare that, which is obviously made for TV movie, different budget, whatnot. But this just looks like, just the look of the film looks so much better. And I mean, the way they're putting the trailers together, the level of suspense it looks like they're building, like it's not it doesn't look like it's just gonna be jump scares and this and that. It looks like they're putting a little bit more thought into how they do it.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
And is this what's the actor's name playing Pennywise? Alexander Skarsgård. Yeah. His voice is genuinely creepy. I like it better than what
Tim
Curry
Curry
did. Yeah. But it just, I don't know. I'm too used to Tim Curry's voice, and when I hear him trying to put on some weird, it's almost like
it just sounds like Tim Curry.
Yeah, it does, but trying not to sound like Tim Curry.
Yeah. You can hear you can hear the curryness.
The curry. Yeah.
Yeah. Great trailer. Like, it's a good trailer. My only beef with these modern horror trailers is their reliance on these crazy jump scare jolts. I hate those. Like I hate them because they're not really earned. I know they're trying to make the trailer tense, and I hope the movie itself isn't built like that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of films that are not built like that, for which they have trailers like that. And I get it. It's, a minute and a half, and you've got to get people invested and shocked and whatever.
Right.
But I hope that the movie itself isn't like that. But yeah, you actually, there's a scene in that trailer where the kid from Stranger Things, don't know his name, walks into a room filled with like clowns. Dolls or whatever. Like, why are you walking into a room like that to begin with? Who knows? I'm sure the movie will provide a good enough reason. But the Tim Curry Pennywise is in there. Tim Curry.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so in the back, you'll see there's a shot in the back. They're all a bunch of different clowns.
Yeah.
And one of those clown dolls is made... No, one of them turns. But there's one in the corner that's made to look exactly like Pennywise from the miniseries. It's a nice little nod. It's a nice throwback to the miniseries itself. Skarsgård looks great. The kids look like they do a really wonderful acting job. The balloon thing they do, even on the New Line balloon.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to do an episode strictly on our favorite films that modify the company logos before the film. I think that's amazing. I fucking love that. I love when companies do. I love when movies do that. Like The Matrix does that.
Yeah. DreamWorks did it pretty well for a couple of their films, actually.
DreamWorks does it. Del Toro does it for all of his films.
Yeah.
Even the original Blade, the New Line Cinema logo that comes up, it's typically blue, but it's red.
Yeah.
For Blade, like stuff like, it's great. And then this one, the balloon is in the logo. It's a New Line. It's New Line, right?
New Line,
yeah. And the
for it.
For it.
That I'm not sure.
There's the balloons in the logo in the trailer.
Nice.
And the balloon appearing in the back of the car, like popping up there.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. I'm really, really excited. I think this is going to be like, and it's filmed at Port Hope in Ontario.
Yeah.
The whole town was filmed here, just a few hours away from Toronto, and I think it looks great. I'm pretty excited. A couple more things. Stranger Things trailer. We literally just watched that before this podcast. I hadn't seen it, and I gotta tell you, like, the Lovecraftian vibes I'm getting from this, I am absolutely loving. Looking off into the distance, large, this large, looks like a Lovecraftian monster. It looks like something straight out of H.P. Lovecraft. Yeah. It's just like that trailer is like an 80s boner. Like, that's literally that's what I said after I saw it. It's just like, I have an erection, and it's basically it is the physical representation for my love of the 80s and 80s films and music. It's like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And they're playing Thriller, and there's like they're dressed as Ghostbusters. It was almost too much.
Yeah.
It was almost too much for me. I'm like, oh my god, they're just like mashing things together, and my head's spinning right now.
They mashed it together so well too.
Yeah,
and
it does.
Like
They
some of the expressions some of the characters can put on their faces to just they don't even have to convey much. And all you like Winona Ryder's exceptional at that. Like anytime she puts on that kind of like that really upset, stressed, terrified face, you feel it. Like at least I do. I don't know, but like you see that and you're like, fuck, something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah. She plays stressed out so well. Yeah. And I almost got a little tired of her stressed outness in the first season.
Oh, in the first season?
It was just like too much. She was just stressed out all the time and freaking out all the time. And it pushed me a little, but I wasn't, like I could understand the character's sort of reasons for being that way.
Right.
So enjoyed that. I'm really happy to watch it. Like that and the It trailer. They're both like 80s films. They share an actor. The original It, because the kid that's in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But the original It the book takes place in the 60s, and they actually bumped it up to the 80s. And I feel like that's a direct result of the success of Stranger Things. I'll be honest with you. Or maybe it was already in the 80s. They updated it just to make it more relevant. So I think a lot of folks are not gonna. If you're playing to this time period, the nostalgia comes from the 80s.
True.
In like a decade or two, it's going to come from the 90s, right? Yeah. So I feel like if they were going to do a remake in 15 years, they would do the 90s.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, that makes sense.
It looks good. I had a couple more. I had another thing. The Dark Tower released 2 posters. Finally, 2 good posters for the film. Because honestly, this movie was releasing really awful artwork for its posters the entire time, really uninspired, just terrible like pieces. But these 2 posters, one is of the Gunslinger and one is of the Man in Black, and they're both drawn by Jay Lee. Really well done posters. He did the Marvel adaptation of the Gunslinger. Sorry, not the Gunslinger, but Wizard in Glass. But the Dark Tower, the Gunslinger Born. That was the name of the book. There was actually a series of trades that he had done. He has beautiful, beautiful artwork, immediately recognizable, but great, profound. Like the first posters where I'm like, oh yes, like this is unique advertisement for the film. Yeah. Or like what it deserves. It deserves something unique. It deserves something striking. So I was happy about that. The Thing board game, Outpost 31 or whatever, the Mondo Tease is making that board game.
Yeah, I read about that a while ago.
So I think they had a demo version of the game at the Comic-Con, and they were playing, and it looks pretty good, and I'm pretty excited. I think I might purchase it when it comes out, just because I love The Thing, and Mondo, and even all the art just looks great, right? Mondo does not half-ass anything, so.
No.
Guillermo del Toro came out with his own tequila.
Oh, fuck. I saw that. It's like $400 a bottle.
Yeah.
And I'm strongly considering getting it.
Yeah.
I'm a tequila fanatic. Well, fanatic might be a bit of a strong word, but I like me some tequila. And bottle of Del Toro's would be good. And dude is in and out of Toronto. I would literally try and stalk him to be able to sign the bottle. Be like, do you mind?
Just signing the bottle? I want to buy it just, like, at some point just to get it as... Even after like drinking it, so there were 2 things. There's the Dan Aykroyd's vodka, the Skullhead vodka, and then like this box like next to each other would look really nice. So there's that, and then the last thing I have here, Beast Wars Megatron. The Prime 1
Studios, they've done some good stuff. They have a really, really good Optimus Prime as well. Their shit, man, they do a good job.
Good lord,
their statues,
Good lord, that thing looks amazing.
Yeah, the texture of the actual beast is really, really good, and then all the robotic parts look robotic, but like the texture looks like biological. It's just they do it really.
And I honestly love the design of Megatron from Beast Wars.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Oh, it's flawless. I think it's like perfect.
Yeah.
He goes through some other iterations and they're not nearly as good.
No, not
this
as
is so good, and they really play it up. It looks fantastic. I think it has a light on the inside of the T-Rex mouth gun thing he's got going on. fantastic. And there's a bunch of like Sideshow collectible stuff. I saw a video of Sideshow. If I had infinite money, I would spend it all there.
Sideshow's stuff, I mean, they've got their 1/6 line. Well, it's not really Sideshow. I think Sideshow's just the distributor, but they deal in the high-end collectibles.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
So like you've got Hot Toys that does the 1/6
Hot
line.
Toys, that's what
their
it is.
stuff is.
Sorry,
immaculate. They just released a couple of they have the tech suit Batman or the
the Justice League.
Yeah, the Justice League one with the one that looks like Night Owl.
Yeah.
They just released some images of that. There's all kinds. I mean, everything that they've done, all the Marvel ones, the Dark Knight ones, look fantastic. My buddy Jason in LA, he had all of them. Well, maybe not all of them, but I think he actually got the Jack Nicholson one as well at some point. But he had the Heath Ledger Joker, he had the Christian Bale Batman. Just those figures are so good.
I saw one image, the Hot Toys I didn't even know they were figures of Jack Nicholson's Joker and Heath Ledger's Joker, and someone did a little photo shoot where Jack Nicholson's Joker's got his hands on his shoulders, kind of like sitting behind him, and I'm like, holy shit, that looks.
Until you zoom in, you don't realize.
That they're figures. It's like they're sculptures. It's just amazing.
Yep,
amazing. Anyway, we've gone way over time.
As usual.
Yeah, as usual.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
We're just an hour and 5 almost. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I loved the news all rolling in. It's some of the favorite times to be a fan, to be honest, just to get all this like wonderful news coming in. And you'll notice that this is sort of devoid of actual comics news, because that really...
Comic-Con is no longer Comic-Con at this point. I mean, there's
stuff there, like there's the DC stuff that I follow, like Metal. They're doing that Metal Universe thing, which is really cool. I've seen some designs, and it just, I don't know enough about it because I've been doing basically back issues and like non-Marvel DC stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm always keeping a beat on like what's going on, and The recent big to Marvel DC news in terms of comics is always stuff that I'm half in the know about and half not. So I thought it's probably better not to speak about it just because I didn't have all of the context.
And I don't know that there's any big announcements at Comic-Con, more just rehashing of stuff that we already know about, or that stuff that's already been released.
Sure.
So like I don't know. When I was researching for this podcast, I didn't actually see anything comic booky. Right. And it's like it's becoming more Comic-Con. Like I said, it's gotten worse over years, and it's because these big studios basically are using it as a grounds to show stuff more about cinematic or TV or whatever.
Yeah.
Like TV's got a huge presence over there at this point. So
we didn't even talk about the DC Marvel TV stuff.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
it's just there's so much. Too. That's kind of what Comic-Con's becoming. It's just more about media than digital media than comic books so much.
Yeah,
anymore,
that's right.
I don't know if that's unfortunate or not, but that's kind of the change in the times.
Yep.
So it is what it is.
Agreed.
Did you have anything you want to promote? We didn't actually talk about that before.
Yeah. I mean, like I mentioned the library just recently. I wanted to talk. I'll take 2 minutes to talk about this. I encourage everyone to get a library card. Being a comic book fan, it's expensive to buy all the stuff that you want, and you certainly don't want to steal it. So there are other ways. Like the library here, like in Toronto, like in New York, I had a library card for a little while. But in Toronto, I recently got one a few months ago, and I was happy to discover that the library has a huge selection of comic books. Mm-hmm. Lots of trades. All these 3 books I mentioned at the beginning were from the library. I've read books that I've kind of wanted to read but never really wanted to purchase because I didn't know whether I would like them or not. They're all at the library.
Yeah. And
some books I couldn't even find to purchase. I found a copy at the library. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. I'm a huge fan of that. And I'm just like really impressed with their selection. And I was even thinking if there's stuff I didn't want, that maybe I would even go ahead and donate it to the library, because I think it's important. I think this is a form of media that I think only recently is starting to get, not recently, but I think generally the comic book form is not treated with the same respect as like a novel, mm-hmm. right? So I think is important for people to be exposed to. It's just another medium. You have film, you've got like books, like written, like literature, and then you have the thing that's in between. Like it's like the visual and the textual experience like put together. And I think the more people that experience it, the better. Whenever I go to the library, there are a lot of kids there, and I think that's really great.
That is good.
I think they have and they have a lot of this stuff available for kids to read. It's great. I think that at some point, like I said, I'm going to do some donations perhaps, or try and get involved, like even on a volunteer level, just to, help out, or, something like that. I was just really happy to see that this even exists, like this level of selection, right? So I definitely recommend like just grabbing a library card, and all you got to do is go on like the Toronto Public Library. You go to the website and just look up the book, and if they have it and it's at some other library, you just order it. They ship it to your library. They let you know when they've got it, and you go in and you pick it up.
Nice, sweet.
So it's really great. I'm really enjoying it. I think everybody should go ahead and grab a library card, as silly as it sounds. Everyone should have one, and they should make use of it. And it's not just comics. I use it mostly for comics because I can digest those fairly quickly. But my wife reads like an avid reader, and she reads books very, very quickly. Like her and I both went to sign up, and now you stop buying books. You just take them out for loan at the library. They have audio books. Yeah. They've got music. It's just tons and tons of stuff. They have 3D printers there.
They have 3D printers?
Yeah, that you can like take a free course and then you can use it. So stuff like that, just like, it's great. I think it's a great resource, and I think it's just something that got. Now maybe I'm preaching to the choir, and everybody already does this and it's all news. But I lost touch.
Yeah,
I lost touch with the library entirely, like over the years, and I'm just like really glad to reconnect and like have this like abundant resource. This resource where I think that whenever I want to read something or consume something, I check the library first, and that's kind of a habit of mine now.
Nice.
So yeah, that's what I want to promote.
Support your local library.
Support your local library. Go and get a library card. Make use of your local library. Whenever you take a book or a movie or an audio book or music out, treat it with respect.
Don't doggy ear those fucking pages. I swear to God, I will find you.
Try not to spill coffee on the book and like completely ruin it for other folks, right? They're gonna have wear and tear on them, right? But try your best to treat them with respect and return them as you got them, all that stuff, and somebody else can enjoy them. So yeah, that's my little bit, my little promo.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, I think we'll close it off.
All right, man. This is Atul.
This is Justin, guys. Thank you for listening, and until next time. Cheers.
See ya.